When we're able to sit down, us, Microsoft, and the customer, we really bring powerful solutions together.
Building a frontier organization, what a powerful narrative that is.
We come in with the Microsoft brand, and with Microsoft in a pitch, people already know that we are going to deliver a great product.
Customers recognize when we show up together, we show up better.
All right. Hello, everybody. Great to be here. For those of you who've been in one of these first sessions, just recommend you put on the headphones and we'll get started here. So welcome, everyone, to our Microsoft Azure partner keynote. Microsoft has, will, and continue to be a partner-first company. And so I'm really, really appreciative of being able to kick off today with you. I'm also going to be joined by Cyril and Nina. But let me just first start with just saying a huge, huge thank you. You'll see some of these customer logos, partner logos of customer projects that we've driven together. And I cannot believe that it is already mid-November. It has been a very, very busy few months. At the bottom there, you can just see some of the events that many of you have showed up side by side with us. I remember MCAP Start for partners back in July. FabCon, one of my most favorite events. We just finished the Migration and Modernization Summit. And of course, we've had AI tours across the world, and many of you have been side by side who joined us. And so a huge, huge thank you again. So look, I think one of the items that I'm really, really proud about is the partner feedback and the feedback that you give us. And I hope you see that we are listening. And this is just a few different areas where you've been kind enough to give us feedback. I think about agility and compete. You know, how do we move faster together with you so we can deliver success with customers or with you? And I think about some of the success we had there. Cyril will talk about Azure Accelerate, but that's been a bit of a hero program for us to really drive acceleration in customer projects. And you can see there over 6,000 Azure Accelerate customer projects. And one of the stats that I really love the most is over 4,600 of those projects have been led by partners, which is just amazing. Tech intensity, obviously, and you saw it today, hopefully in the keynote, technology is moving super, super fast. And one of the areas that you've given us feedback is how do we make sure we're skilling you and how are we skilling our customers together? And so one of the great stats here, again, we've seen over 66% growth in Azure partner specializations, which is really, really important when you think about the work that we're delivering with customers. And then speed to market. Ton of great momentum here. One of the areas, again, that I'm the most excited about is the growth we've seen in Marketplace. And Cyril will talk about that, but just Marketplace being such a scale engine to deliver across the partner and customer ecosystem. And so we've seen a 2x growth, especially in the AI and app solution. And then again, you can see here over 250,000 training sessions with our partners, and a lot more to come. So at the beginning of the year, one of the things we did was look at when we talk to customers, when we talk to partners, and they're thinking through frontier transformation, how are they thinking about it? And we looked at it across these three, what we call solution plays. Many of you are probably aware on how we go to market. One is migration and modernization. Continues to be very, very important. There still is a lot of on-premise estate out there, and customers are still moving that to the cloud. I'll then go to unify your data platform. Data, obviously, is critical to drive value with AI, and then innovate with AI apps and agents. If you think about migration and modernization, as I mentioned, there's still Windows Server, SQL Server out there. But I'm really excited about migration and modernization is kind of this next era we have of using agentic modernization. How do we use AI tools to accelerate modernization with customers? And unify your data platform, one very, very near and dear to me. I think more and more customers are paying attention around their data platform. You saw some of the announcements we made today with Fabric IQ, how you kind of connect your business data to how you're then using AI so it can provide more value. And then, of course, innovate with AI apps and agents. You can see the data there, 1.3 billion agents to be built by 2028. You look at some of the work we showed you today with 𝗦𝗽𝗀𝗃 Copilot, and how does every human think about how do they work with a team of agents. And so we'll talk a little bit more about how we accelerate that with you today. When I think about Microsoft and the awesome opportunity around helping customers kind of become frontier businesses, you can just see some data points up here. 85% of the Fortune 500 are using Azure. I mentioned Marketplace, just this great growth around customers discovering solutions to scale in a marketplace. The Azure global footprint I'll speak about. Copilot, we've seen tremendous growth of Copilot, Copilot Chat. Azure, Microsoft Foundry, over 80,000 customers. We'll talk about the model diversity with Foundry, the great announcement that hopefully you caught this morning of Anthropic models being available in Foundry. And then Fabric. We've just seen this incredible momentum in Fabric as a data platform, alongside the great growth in our partner solutions, whether it's Databricks, Snowflake, MongoDB, and many who are building on Azure. So this is probably my favorite slide, because it talks about a little bit of the keynote that you saw this morning. When you think about frontier transformation, that requires the full platform stack. And when I think about Azure, Azure today is powering the world's largest AI workloads. In the consumer space, ChatGPT runs on Azure. In the enterprise space, of course, Copilot runs on Azure. And so when you think about Azure powering the world's biggest AI workloads, that's critically important. As you're building, as you're helping customers build AI solutions, it's not just a model. It requires the full stack. It requires infrastructure, AKS, databases, multiple models. How do you kind of bring that together? And I think that's where this full cloud and AI platforms kind of value realization comes to life. From an infrastructure perspective, we've scaled our infrastructure 100x in the last 5 years. We actually added over 2 gigawatts of capacity just in the last year. And some of you might have caught last week we announced our Fairwater Atlanta data center. We call it kind of an AI super factory. It's going to have hundreds of thousands of GPUs. Just some interesting stats. Each of these racks in those data centers, 140 kilowatts, 52 Blackwell GPUs, and we have over 120,000 miles of AI dedicated fiber across the US that these data centers are connected to. The other important area when I think about infrastructure is our commitment to sovereign. And so when you think about from public cloud sovereign, some of the announcements we've made around EU data commitments, EU Data Guardian, you think about some of the innovation around confidential computing, really important for us to make sure we provide the best solution for public cloud. We also have solutions around private cloud, and we also have our national partner cloud solutions with Delos and Blue in France and Germany. And so making sure Azure is the complete platform for sovereign needs. Data, super important. Azure being the best destination for customer data. In Fabric, we've seen, again, incredible adoption. And what I love about Fabric is something we call OneLake. OneLake allows you, our customer, to bring data across their organization. Data that could be sitting in Amazon, data that could be sitting in Google, data that could be sitting in Snowflake, Google BigQuery, and bringing that all to Fabric in OneLake. If it's an open format, you don't even have to move the data. We support technologies such as shortcuts that lets you just point to that data. And again, you can then run your AI workloads on top of that data. And then as well, as I mentioned, the great growth and partnerships that we have with Azure Databricks, Snowflake, MongoDB are also critically important. Databases. Every application, every AI application requires a database. And so again, when you think about just the innovation, we'll talk a little bit to you around our commitment to PG SQL and open source. Some great announcements this week with Horizon DB. Cosmos DB, one of my favorite databases, it powers some of the most mission-critical applications on the planet around the world. And then on top of that is an AI platform. You heard a lot about Microsoft Foundry today. Observability, model choice. We had this idea of an AI app server a couple years ago to help accelerate building AI applications. And again, Microsoft Foundry today is the only hyperscaler cloud that has the world's leading models available. So with both OpenAI models and then with the announcement today with Anthropic models. And so when you're building on Azure, from the infrastructure layer, from the data layer, to the AI app layer with the best frontier models on the planet, it really allows you to then bring your value to life. And then on top of that, of course, you have the applications and agents layer. And again, if you see on the left side of this slide, is developer tools. Visual Studio, GitHub. And what I'm really, really excited about is GitHub. Not only is GitHub a great development platform, GitHub Copilot, but we're also integrating GitHub across this stack. So just a couple examples. When I mentioned migration and modernization, how can you use GitHub and Azure Migrate for that agentic modernization? So some just awesome innovation there. And then the integration of GitHub with Azure, with Microsoft Foundry, allowing you to accelerate as you're building AI applications. So again, as companies are becoming kind of frontier firms, this full stack approach ends up being super, super important. So in the keynote with Judson this morning, and it's actually been very consistent, we've been talking about this success criteria for frontier transformation. And we've been using this actually for the last, I'd say, year plus, around these 4 success ingredients: enriching employee experience, reinventing customer engagement, reshaping business processes, and bending the curve on innovation. And so I just wanted to connect it back to how do we help customers, how do we help you then becoming frontier? It kind of comes back to those 3 customer conversations around how you're thinking about becoming frontier. How are you thinking about migrating to modernization and moving to the cloud? How are you thinking about unifying your data so you can get value from AI? And how are you thinking about building applications and innovating with AI apps and agents? And so with that, I just wanted to quickly show a quick customer video of customers who are driving success with Azure as their platform. So let's cue that up.
This is Azure, your intelligent cloud, where innovation is built to last. With the support of Azure, Kraft Heinz is creating a self-driving supply chain, improving forecast accuracy by 35%, so mealtime stays on time. The Premier League is a global way of life. Azure unites 30 years of league history into one experience. With personalized insights, the world's game just got more inclusive. Timeless brands never stop evolving. Azure helps Levi's craftsmanship stay ahead of the curve. Now agents connect expertise across departments, and jeans fit better, arrive sooner, and never go out of style. This is Azure, the next frontier of custom solutions. Ready to build the future?
Awesome. Hopefully you all like that video. So as I kind of wrap up and hand it to Cyril, I think just this slide is really, to me, this idea of becoming frontier. It's not a concept, it's a call to action. Thinking through, again, that keynote and the 4 success criteria, thinking about AI is not just something you kind of put into a chatbot. How do you think about AI in the flow of work? How do you think about AI kind of helping you drive ubiquitous innovation? How do you think about AI with observability at every layer of the stack and security? All of this is needed. And I look forward to accelerating business outcomes with both yourselves and customers together. Thank you all so much. And I'm going to hand it over to Cyril to talk a little bit more about the how. So Cyril, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Zia. Great to be with all of you. Many friendly faces, some new ones too. So thanks for joining us. Zia put this slide up just to give you context on sort of the becoming frontier secret sauce, and then how that connects on how we're going to market, both with our own sellers and then with you, with our sellers. And so with that, Zia covered sort of the strategy and the go-to-market. I wanted to touch on a little bit on the product innovation and then our partner investments that we've made for you. Just a few of them for you to get a little bit of a flavor. Over the last little while, from, I guess, build to now, there's been a lot going on. From the Microsoft Marketplace on September to, GPT-5, Sora 2, new agentic app modernization experiences, and lots of other investments into OneLake and Fabric that connects to Databricks and Oracle and BigQuery, lots going on. And so we've seen lots of momentum, and your feedback is how do we keep you up to date with what's going on? So I wanted to spend a little bit of time sort of in these categories for what you heard at Ignite this morning. No, I'm joking. This morning you heard a few of these announcements. So I put this up not to take you through everything, because I'm going to pick a few of these and highlight them, but maybe you can take a picture of the slide. These are the topics you should go and explore within the context of how we go to market, the announcements that we are making today. Some you heard this morning, some I'll cover now. And just go learn more about it. Get curious and go think about what it might mean to our joint customers and how we might go to market, and then give us feedback. We'd love to learn what's important for you. A few areas I'd call out. Let's start with the Foundry control plane. This is very important for AI apps and agents. It really is the place where developers can go and look at the health, performance, cost, and really overall observability of all these AI apps and agents that are going out there. You can imagine over time, if you haven't got hundreds, you will eventually have thousands, if not tens of thousands of agents in an organization. And you really want the developer to be able to think about which agent to marry with which large language model. And this control plane is a very important announcement based on that feedback. Horizon DB, think of this as mega scale, large capacity, super fast. And so really important in the connection to PostgreSQL and what's the capability there, really to modernize the cloud-based applications at scale in the cloud. And we're very excited about that. And then finally, Azure Copilot. You saw a little bit of in the demo today, this morning, I think it was in Scott's section of the keynote, where a practitioner can be in the admin console. In Azure Copilot, it can ask it questions around deployment, migration, modernization, and observability in terms of what's going on, cost management, and how they could make changes to the actual infrastructure directly from an agentic experience instead of going into the hardcore tool. So very important announcement as you think about enabling customers to take the next step. The next few it starts with a couple of the IQs. Foundry IQ. Now you heard a lot about the 3 IQs this morning. I'm not going to cover Work IQ here. That's a very connected, important part of the business. Foundry IQ is really about how we ground those agents in all the data sources across the company in one single place. So of course there's the Work IQ, our new Fabric IQ, which I'll hit on in a second, custom apps, the web, but how does Foundry IQ now allow agents and apps to really bring it all together and be grounded on one single source of truth? I mentioned Fabric IQ. This is sort of the knowledge source of your organization, from structured and unstructured data all in one place. I loved the analogy this morning, actually, because when you think about Fabric, the user experience of Fabric, that's amazing for a user because you can get analytics experiences on the go with AI, you can play around, you can get your charts and your graphs. What this does is create the same interface for agents to get access to the same data within Fabric, wherever it comes from. Can come from Microsoft sources, can come from non-Microsoft sources, can come from non-Azure sources, but everything in one place for an agent to interact with across structured and unstructured data. And then finally, app modernization. We made some announcements today about how we help customers modernize their applications using Azure Migrate and GitHub, either as a practitioner when you're migrating or as a developer, right in the flow of their work. So agents and AI can help customers think through source code and get that modernized. So Azure Accelerate. I mentioned there are 2 areas I wanted to hit on in terms of partner investments and programs. This, if you're in Azure Accelerate, thank you. You know, Zia mentioned there's 6,000 projects going just from this fiscal year starting in July. This is the single place that we provide to partners to go get incentives, go get payouts for work delivered with our customers on Azure. As you can see, customers get access to trusted experts, yourselves, and Microsoft people, comprehensive solution. It's across the entire experience, and then integrated all the way from pre-sales to post-sales, whether it's discovery through to deployment. This year, we introduced a new capability within inside Azure Accelerate called the Cloud Accelerate Factory. And that's a set of Microsoft resources that provide zero-cost deployment into customers. And so partners can combine that with existing work that they're offering customers, own the interface with the customer, but then have Microsoft own a chunk of the execution on their behalf. And so for partners, what does this mean? Really for partners, it's one unified offering. Some of you might have thought about Azure Migrate and Modernize and Azure Innovate and then the factory. We've brought this together into one place for you to come get everything you need, particularly for your incentives. I say the word incentives because for partners, it's the air that you breathe. Talking about incentives, this is 70% richer incentives this year in terms of what we're providing in Azure Accelerate. We've improved the operations behind this based on your feedback to move faster through automation. And then finally, this helps you partner with our sales team to increase your own sales velocity and obviously in partnership with them. So please, if you're engaged with Azure Accelerate, thank you. If you're not, please engage, give us feedback, go make sure you're getting what you need from it. Next up is the Microsoft Marketplace. We launched the Microsoft Marketplace September 25th. That date is etched into my brain because we're really excited about the feedback that we were getting from customers because they had multiple marketplaces. They had AppSource, they had Azure Marketplace. We really created one marketplace, a single place for a business customer to discover, try, buy, and deploy anything related to the Microsoft Cloud, whether it's an agent that works in Microsoft 365 Copilot, whether it's a SaaS application that runs on Azure, whether it's a security experience on our security stack. A customer can go to one place to find everything they need, and then with simple clicks, go and get that procured and then deployed. That's amazing for partners in that you know that customers are going to the single place, and this is where you could put all your software services and capabilities for them to discover, try, buy, and deploy. You know, Zia mentioned 4,000 plus AI apps and agents. I'll go even further. That is the largest category on any marketplace for AI apps and agents. And so that is from our partners. That's the work that all of you have done to create amazing experiences on AI. And so we're now able to provide jointly the largest catalog to customers. We obviously combine that with cloud solutions. It's not just about AI apps and agents. Whether you want a solution for industry, a solution for productivity, you can combine that with classic AI apps and agents. For partners, this is a big deal, so that you can publish once to our marketplace, get access to the Microsoft Marketplace, and then get access to our customers. In addition to that, we also contextually surface applications from the marketplace into Microsoft products. This is not written on the slide, but listen to my words. We contextually surface applications from the Microsoft Marketplace into Microsoft products. So let me give you an example. If you publish an agent to the Microsoft Marketplace through Partner Center, which I know you all love and go to every day, if that agent qualifies as a Microsoft 365 Copilot agent, it will automatically surface inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. You go click on all agents, you will see an agent store. That agent store pulls the agents from the Microsoft Marketplace. The same applies for Azure AI Foundry, large language models from the Marketplace. You heard Anthropic this morning. Guess where that model sits? It sits in the Microsoft Marketplace, and Microsoft Foundry pulls it out. Security Store, same thing. The Security Store was announced late September 2, a new security store from Microsoft. That's in the product, our security products. Guess where it pulls from? Anybody want to guess? Yes, the Microsoft Marketplace. So you can see for software companies, for channel, I won't go through all the details here, but you can see extremely, extremely powerful opportunity. So I'll be back to close out, but before we do that, I wanted to have Nina come up and bring up two special guests to give you a sense of how they're thinking about their business and their partnership with Microsoft. So Nina.
Thank you. Sanjay? Well, thank you so much for joining us. We have heard great things from Zia and from Cyril on the programs, the announcements. But this is actually my favorite part, is how do we make it real? And I could not be more thrilled to be joined here today by Sanjay and Tom here. They are representing some of the best of our partners. And I want to start just by congratulating both of you.
Thank you.
You won America's Partner of the Year as the strongest. So yes, a round of applause here.
Thanks.
And Sanjay with Accenture, 9 awards, including Global Services Partner of the Year, worldwide. So really, really great advice. So as we go into this discussion, what I'm hoping that we can all take away are some of your tips and tricks and some of your insights. So as we dive in, maybe if you could start a little bit about sharing maybe something about Accenture that we don't all know, right? And maybe perhaps both of you could share a little bit about your philosophy on partnership.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, first of all, for having us here. This is phenomenal, and I love the opportunity to talk to everybody today. So, one thing I would say about Accenture that many folks may not know is, we are a very large-scaled organization, which I think people do know. Over 700,000 people globally across 80-something countries. Our Microsoft partnership is our largest partnership that we have with Accenture. And 25 years ago, just a few months ago, we started a joint venture with Microsoft, which is 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗏. So 𝗦𝗽𝗏 and Accenture go to market together, and we have industry depth across 13 industries that we specialize in, and we have technology depth across all of the solution areas that 𝗦𝗽𝗏 focuses on. So we're very grateful to kind of have that depth and be able to use that to help our clients transform. In terms of your question around what is our kind of thought process around helping our clients, one thing I'd say we do as a tip and a trick for others is we always strive to be customer zero. So what that means is when there's a new technology Microsoft is about to release, is already released, we try to take that technology, adapt, implement that internally for Accenture, for our own operations across our very complex business. Again, I mentioned 13 industries. We also have 5 different businesses. So we will take Fabric, for example, 2 years ago and go and implement that and scale it, right? Not just as a POC or a pilot, but we'll do it at scale. And then we'll take the learnings from that, talk to our clients about what it means to use Fabric and how to, the pros and cons and sort of where the pitfalls may be. We'll give feedback back to the Microsoft team to kind of make sure that kind of goes through. Another example would be 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗏 Copilot. We have 400,000 licenses, which is the largest Copilot implementation globally for Microsoft. So that's kind of one thing we do is, eat our own dog food and then try to go sell it to clients.
It's actually really helpful because that internal use actually helps everyone be able to reimagine with clients as well.
Absolutely.
And we're very proud of your adoption of Copilot. So Tom, maybe you could share a little bit about OneStream.
Sure. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I always feel like I'm coming home when we come to a Microsoft event because they're sort of like our big brother. We're out fighting many other competitors out there, and we love to go to battle together. OneStream is a platform for the Office of the CFO, and we have a really serious customer, CFOs. The data has to be right, it has to be on time, and so when we look at the work that we do together and the joint referenceability and the partnership that we have, it's about delivering success every single time. And so at OneStream, when we come into a customer, we typically are replacing between 2 and 6 systems at a company. And what that does is it helps to unify, standardize, and give a common view that's a reliable source, and in many companies, sometimes the first very reliable source that they have across their business to create a logical model. And what that does for us is it allows us then to provide all sort of decision-making information jointly, whether that's through Power BI, or whether it's through direct access to SQL or through our in-memory analytic models that we build. So Microsoft and our partnership in general represents to me, we decided early on that, from the first line of code, through the operating system, all the way through hyperscale, Microsoft would be our partner. We don't use any other technologies. And so just like Sanjay, it's one of the, it is our biggest and most important relationship from a go-to-market as well as engineering relationship. And we continue to think about Microsoft from the perspective of scale and our ability to grow. We get to think about how we can serve our customer and their functional needs because we know that we have the ability and the hyperscale capabilities of Microsoft. So that's where the relationship and the real leverage comes in the partnership.
Oh, great feedback from both of you, and obviously great impact with all of our clients. But we also know it's a pretty competitive market out there, and customers are evaluating lots of different hyperscalers. And one of the things that I think would be interesting is to share why Microsoft. What do you think is sort of unique about our partnerships, right? And what is about the value proposition with Microsoft?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, our customers, especially our Global 2000 customers, have very, very heterogeneous tech environments. You all know that. You see that every day. They have Palo Alto networks in there with some technology. They got a Google environment. They got a Microsoft shop. They got SAP. And you know, when they think about modernization and they think about transformation, all of that heterogeneity is tech debt. It's complexity, right? It slows them down. It really kind of has an impact on their ability to move fast. And Microsoft is unique because of the full stack of technology that Cyril and Zia just referenced. The ability to kind of use Microsoft across your security tooling, the ability to use Microsoft as your cloud provider, as your modern work provider, from an ERP perspective with business applications and Microsoft Dynamics. So, you know, when we go in and we have these frontier firm type conversations, right? We have our own branding for that that we call reinvention services, right? Which we're doing is we're going to clients and trying to do full enterprise reinventions. Part of that is you've got to take out the complexity from your tech environment, and one way of doing that is buy some pretty streamlined things like an E5 license from Microsoft. You get a bunch of stuff. You can disband a number of your licenses. So I think just the ability to integrate across a complex technology ecosystem, infrastructure, application, security, modern work, et cetera, makes a huge difference for our ability to sell to clients enterprise transformation.
So Tom, you already shared that you bet on Microsoft. Maybe from the perspective of why out there in the marketplace, that would be helpful to share with folks.
Yeah, I'll say this. As I talked about CFOs, in the early, let's call it around 2015, they were very reluctant to put the type of information that we hold. We submit the numbers that come out of our software go to Wall Street. So they were very protective of this. So there were a lot of different reasons, not just on the scale. I mean, we're in the same business of, you know, we come in, I mentioned we're getting rid of 2 to 6 systems. It's about getting rid of tech debt, having the breadth and scale to deliver all the services around a platform that the CFO would need. But it really came down to one of the main decisions that drove me to Microsoft was SQL Server and Azure SQL. The redundancy, the capabilities of having geo redundancy and having, you know, being able to have our customer restore their financial data within a couple of minutes really changed the game for us and allowed us to offer a premium service to CFOs. Now that's actually gone way beyond, you know, that was one of the foundational decision criteria, but it was also, you know, the fact that we have the infinite compute notion. I tell our engineering team, you're free now. We can go and solve the problems that we want to solve, and we can kind of come in with this notion that compute is infinite. And that's extended into the AI era for us. And so for us, we're very focused on delivering what we call finance AI, and that is transparent, auditable, reliable AI interactions. Because for CFOs, 80% useful is 0%, or 80% accurate is 0% useful.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to trust.
They have to trust it.
Absolutely have to trust it, yeah.
And Microsoft helps us deliver that.
That's great. Well, we all function on trust, right? And partnership is also all about that trust. And one of the things that we've been working hard at Microsoft is making sure that we have different programs and incentives and offerings. And you saw some of the announcements that we made today. And quite frankly, I'm pretty excited about some of those announcements. Hopefully you guys were as well. But in addition to that, there are a lot of programs that we put in place. And I know for the audience, Zia and Cyril shared some of those today, but maybe programs are only as good and incentives are only as good as the adoption that you actually have and being able to pull out and realize those programs. I'm going to start with you, Tom. Maybe you could share a little bit about how do you get people excited about that? And then I'm even going to give you a chance, because we have a lot of Microsoft people in here if there's any feedback or suggestions, because that's what partnership's about too.
Perfect. So to start, I would say one of the most successful programs for us has been the MAC program. And that has enabled us, because we sell to large, complicated organizations just like Sanjay, that there's multiple, we're all making commitments, we're relying on hyperscale infrastructure, and being able to come in and align with the customer and with Microsoft to say, you know, we can help you maximize the resource investment that you've made is really critical. It resonates really well. And as a partner, I would say investigating and making sure that you're a part of that program, especially if you're selling into large transformation projects where your customer has a big commit with Microsoft, is a really great boost, and it's a way to not only get traction or get favor with your customer, but also it's highly aligned to Microsoft's needs and your own needs.
And it's beneficial to the customer as well, right?
That's it.
Right.
It really is.
Right.
I mean, it's great for customers as well. And so, as far as you know, advice or thinking about how we would want to work with, we're really focused on making sure that we're getting more targeted solution focus. So instead of trying to use the term boil the ocean, find the areas where we're highly aligned, whether it's in a particular industry or a particular vertical, and making sure that we go to market together in the most meaningful way. Because I think what customers what I'm hearing, especially in AI, is they want applied solutions. They want to know that there's a determined outcome that they can actually go back and talk about, more than productivity, more than this is the benefit that I got to my organization, and focus creates that opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like the focus on the industry, because we're also experiencing that our customers are asking us to speak in their own language, understand their problems, and make sure that we're solutioning together. And really, truly, I think in some ways being their business partner in the real sense of what that means.
Yeah.
Sanjay, any thoughts from your end?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we as Accenture 𝗦𝗲𝗀 are very, very, very heavy users of ESIF. Right? We leverage a ton of ESIF for our customers. We drive transformation through that ESIF, and it's made a huge impact for customers' ability to go do something complex for which they need starting funds before the ROI becomes clear. What I heard today from Cyril that really excited me was two things. One is 70% increase to the amount of partner program funds that are going to be committed, which is phenomenal.
Which is great.
Really excited about that, because our clients, the name of the conversation right now is all agentic AI, and it's all about agentic AI business process transformation. And our clients want to go down those journeys, and they don't know where to start. And so as we start to kind of work with them from an industry specialized way, we say, okay, here are the business processes that we think you can go and agentify. They want to get started on those journeys, and they need funds to do that. So I think these programs will be phenomenal at helping them accelerate those funds. In terms of improvements, I think I would say that's the other thing Cyril said that really resonated with me, which is operational changes to the programs and the way in which that they're used, and the way in which we consume those, that to make them easier to use, right? And I think that we would say that historically they have not been that easy to use, and I think some of those changes will be really helpful. So I'm looking forward to those changes, and I think that they are super critical for our clients, and our Microsoft really has a way with meeting the customer where they are, which is what I love about working with Microsoft, because especially these large customers, they don't want to fit into a box of a solution. They have unique needs and unique desires, and we create custom solutions for them. We try to not do that and have kind of standardization that we can use to replicate, but that's really difficult. The reality is our largest customers need and want bespoke solutions.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, and I appreciate the feedback as well, because we do take it to heart, and it's how we improve. And what I encourage all of you that are here, please keep the feedback coming, but also offer suggestions, right? Because sometimes we understand what isn't working, but do you have a better insight on how to make it work even more effectively? That is fantastic feedback for us, and we put it to action. All right, well, we don't have a lot of time left, but I'd love to conclude with some of your best advice, right? If you're in the audience, we have a lot of partner leaders here, excited about their business with Microsoft, and quite frankly, in this incredible opportunity that we have with the AI transformation. Any quick advice, Tom?
Quick would just be Microsoft equals scale. And so you can lean into what you're trying to deliver your customer. So focus on that and rely on Microsoft to know that this infrastructure is here, and you can push farther and faster.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that. Sanjay?
Yeah. You know, the one thing I would say is, in this era of agentic AI, what is super critical is industry specialization and industry skills and understanding the business process that you're trying to agentify or the business you're trying to transform with agentic AI. So, you know, lead with industry, be specific from a function perspective in terms of what you're trying to transform. We heard some of the stories earlier this morning around DAX Copilot in healthcare, understanding that healthcare provider journey from end to end. It makes it, you know, much easier to kind of transform that journey. So I would say lead with industry.
Yeah, I'll second that. The most traction that we see is when partners come, they have value propositions by industry, even down to the persona level, and you start having both use cases or customer examples.
Yep.
And then now I'd even challenge folks that if you have IP around particular agents and they're almost at 80% useful, how cool is it for our field sales organization to be able to go in and lead with something that they can actually deliver very, very quickly? So I would absolutely encourage. Well, you guys, thank you so much for spending time sharing some insights and advice. You guys, the future that we're all trying to build right now, right? It's not something that we're waiting for. We're going to build this together. So I'm really excited about where we are right now, the enthusiasm we have, the solutions that we have to bring to bear, and then the trust that we're all building together to go deliver that for our clients. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank you, Nina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sanjay, Tom, and Nina. That was really insightful. So just to close things up here in a minute, this is the sort of frame, just to remind everybody, we started with Frontier this morning. This is how we go to market on the Azure side of the world, the cloud and AI platforms, from migrate and modernize estate to unified data platform and innovate with Azure AI apps. You've heard strategy and go to market, some product innovation, partner investments, and the secret sauce from the experts on how to, where the rubber hits the road. I love the guidance around the Microsoft Azure commitment and the end customer investment funds. They sound tactical, but they are very strategic. It's part of important ingredients on how we go to market. So just before I close out, a few things for you to take away. Again, take a picture of the slide, screenshot if you're online. These are the key elements that we've spoken about, these things. Azure Accelerate, key important part of our incentives that we provide to you, and feedback, thank you. On the operations side, we'll keep getting better. ISV Success, if you're a software development company or a startup or independent software vendor, please join us on ISV Success and get benefits from us, get help, get support, and help you get onto Marketplace. And then the Microsoft Marketplace I mentioned earlier, get there, do a few transactions on the Marketplace. And as Nina says, give us feedback. Feedback is vitally important to us. And so whether you're online, please go to LinkedIn and send a message to your favorite Microsoft person on some feedback for you. And if you don't have a favorite Microsoft person, Nina and myself are now your favorite Microsoft people. So please send us a message on LinkedIn and send us your thoughts on how we can help you better serve our joint customers. If you're here in the room, please take someone by the arm, find a Microsoft person, give them feedback. We love the feedback. Our joint success, the future of Frontier, is reliant on the people in this room and watching the keynote together. And so listen, thanks for your time today. Have a small video here on Marketplace just to get you jazzed up as you exit. Enjoy the rest of Ignite, and thank you so much.
Look at this. Look at this. at this.